don't have any original equipment manufacturer in Nigeria because we don't generally manufacture these things. So we need the expertise of companies overseas. We need to leverage on their expertise and in conjunction with the Nordic Act, transfer this knowledge from the experts onto the locals. This is what this act is all about. So they work hand in hand. In terms of regulatory compliance, the onus is also on the private sector to ensure that the rules and regulations that are put in place by the government, by the IOCs, and by class is adhered to. So we have, as private sector, we have a big role to play in this. To start up any business in Nigeria or even in the world, there are definitely challenges. There are definitely hurdles that you need to cross. In Nigeria, we have highlighted some of the hurdles. First is access to capital. And not just access to capital, but because of the high interest rates, the wall, scaling the wall, or the financial wall is quite difficult. In the previous slide, we've mentioned that government has looked at Bank of Industry. The Cabotage Act also has some allocation for it, even though there are some issues we've raised, but at least it has been mentioned, it has been highlighted. The government has given support by putting down or implementing these legislations. What we now need is further support to enforce the legislations. What we need is stakeholder discussions, roundtable discussions with the government to highlight the issues, and the government to be more receptive in taking on board these issues and resolving these issues in a timely manner. I guess we have a technological glitch.
Yeah, a glitch.
I had a feeling this would happen, so I printed my slides. So technological know-how, that is one of the major challenges. A lot of the vessels that you see around are very, very sophisticated. Even if you go right down to a vehicle, it's sophisticated. Then you go up to a truck, even more sophisticated. You go to a vessel, even more sophisticated. You go to a plane. None of these are manufactured in country, maybe except for the vehicle. So technology know-how is a big hurdle. How do we circumvent that challenge? We have to partner with the people that know how to do it. We have to partner with the people that manufactured this equipment. And in partnering with them, we need to ensure that we implement the Nordic Act, being technology transfer, succession planning, to ensure that over time the positions or the knowledge is domiciled in country. Again, this ties into shortage of specialized human resources. In order to repair the HVAC system of a vessel or the crane on a vessel is no small feat. I was opportune to manage the manufacturing or the erection of a crane on one of the top sides, the often top sides for a Total job. This was done in France. The cost of the equipment alone that were used to bore the machines, the cost of the lathe machines alone is skyrocketing. So to have that level of sophistication domiciled in country is no small feat. Hence, we need, like I mentioned, a roundtable discussion with stakeholders, with the government, so they appreciate the issues and the challenges that business owners are facing. Apart from startup, you also have operational issues. Nigerdock has repaired alone last year over 20 vessels. The year before, even more than that. And in the year before, even more. So we know what we're talking about when it comes to operational challenges. One of the operational challenges is class requirement defiance. And I'm happy the president of SWAN also touched on this. If you go out to sea, you see a lot of vessels anchored. We now understand why they're anchored there. But because of the years of usage, they need to do even more dry docking than new vessels. Dry docking should occur at least once every 3 to 5 years. But what we've done in Nigerdock is look at unique ways to meet our clients wherever they are. We can help our clients review the thickness of the hulls so that before they go on hire, we can tell them, you will need to dry dock this vessel in 2 years' time. You will need to dry dock this vessel in 3 years' time. So when you're discussing with the IOCs, when you're going on hire, you need to communicate with your clients and tell them, yes, you're hiring this vessel for 4 years, but within those 4 years, I need to dry dock in 2.5 years. So it doesn't come as a surprise. There's transparency through the chain, the value chain. We've touched a little bit on maintenance culture that we have. And this runs even from the household chores and the household equipment we have. A lot of people don't feel it necessary to do the daily maintenance, even on our vehicles, let alone on vessels. So this is one of the challenges that vessel owners face. This is one of the challenges we face as in operations of a shipyard. Because of the maintenance culture, when the vessels do come into dry dock, you have an increase in price. And obviously, there's no vessel owner that wants to pay out cash, especially if there is no corresponding on-hire agreement by a client. So the way we've worked with it is to have a relationship with the vessel owners and tell them, look, we have a diagnostics team. We have people that can be flown or people that can go to your vessel. They can do a random or holistic diagnostic depending on what the client wants. So we can tell them, why don't you do A, B, C, and D now? It will save you E and F in the future. For instance, engine repairs. Engines are very, very sensitive. So the more you do upfront, the better for your engine. The more you do early, the better the more you can increase the lifespan of the engine. It's not just engines, controls. We look at propulsion systems and HVAC. Next is the availability of parts. Like I previously mentioned, we do not manufacture the equipment, we do not manufacture the controls in country. So it's quite difficult to get some parts here in country. In our experience, some parts could take 2 months, 3 months to procure and deliver in country. So that is a major challenge. We've developed a marine marketplace of OEMs. So these parts are easily available to the vessel owners as and when they are needed. We also have the capability to reverse engineer some of these parts. So instead of waiting for parts to come from overseas, we take a look at what the part is, we look at the dimensions, and we reverse engineer them using our lathe machines. The workforce is also a challenge, being that they may not have been exposed to the sophistication of the equipment or the engines on a vessel. Hence, repairing these equipment, repairing these engines could be quite difficult. So there's a challenge there. And what we've noticed is that in some cases, without the right competence, you can do more harm than good. So we manage the risks. Yes, the Nordic Act